Okay, let's start. Hello everyone, our group study is on the article Film Size and Innovation in European Manufacturing, and our team members are Yuhan, David, Haixiao, and me. First, I will briefly explain the context of the article. The problem addressed is the differences in innovation performance in firms of different size. As the first group said, how different are large and small firms in their innovative performance and so on. And you can see in the table, in terms of strategies about product and process innovations, small and medium-sized firms rely more on innovation dynamic, while large firms rely more on market power structures, new machines, and a larger market. And in terms of inputs to introduce innovations, the former rely on flexible production, while the latter has an advantage because their innovation cost can be spread over a larger amount of output. As for market conditions and knowledge environments, small and medium-sized firms perform better in a competitive market, and large firms perform poor innovation with monopolistic market and high barriers to entry. And as to KSF, patents, industry specificity, and the strategy of opening new markets are critical. And the critical strategical concept developed are following. About the two core competitive strategies, cost advantage and differentiations, different in entrepreneur size and industry complexity need to be considered. And the industry organization theory, European manufacturing companies complement each other in many aspects, especially small and medium-sized new companies behave in roughly the same way. And as to the LE theory, process and product innovation make barriers to entry, and through incentives, investments, and appropriate policies, companies that have the ability to better adapt to the competitive environment will have an advantage. Next slide, please.
Okay. And for a company which want to innovate, the first step is to determine the size and the type of the company, and then they have to decide what type of innovation to do. And in the innovation process, the small companies shows better flexibility and use of experimental environment, and their strategy is often to use new patents, build new products, and find new markets. But the effect of innovation is often not as good as that of large companies. And the small companies rely more on patent applications for innovation, while large firms rely on more the market expansion. And in this process, the small companies often suffer a higher risk than the large companies, which can put more money in innovation, but they don't have enough ability to promote the home market. And in this kind of product, in the process of innovation, the protection ability of the small companies for their patents is not as good as the large enterprise either. And on the other way, for large enterprise, because they have a completed system and a strong capital chain, they are far better than the small companies in terms of social influence of their product. However, it's common for large enterprises also because of the huge systems, and they will perform well in the aspect of growth innovation, but enough flexibility, not willing to carry out disruptive innovation. And so they are able to have the birth of real route-changing product. And the next slide, please.
Yes. So still in the critical analysis, for instance, Love and Ashcroft in 1989 said market structure is less relevant for innovation than corporate structure. That means for plant size for ownership and R&D enhance innovation. And the knowledge environment in which firms it all operate that influence relationships between firm size and innovation. So it has been we've got an analysis model that has been developed that offers a mathematical way to analyze with firm size, sector, and country variables. So when you got a technical change, that leads to opportunities for innovation strategy in two ways. In product innovation, that we call PDIN, where is expected to be associated to a deliberate market expansion strategy by increasing market share or opening up a new market, and as well a presence of patenting activities to protect firms' invention and new product. That is called the strategy of technological competitiveness. And the second way, in process innovation, we call PCIN, where is expected to make the production process more efficient and flexible, and to expand their market by decreasing price that allow by new processes. And we call that the strategy of active price competitiveness. So that's allowed us to move to the practical implication of finding. Next slides, please.
Then I will talk about our findings. First, you can see the picture on the left is the innovation diagnostic. According from case study, we found that innovation practices that are more important are technical push, market pull, process and product activities, price competitiveness, and opening new markets. The two important dimensions of the scale of innovative entrepreneurs are product and process innovation. The behavior of small and medium-sized companies is roughly similar, but the innovation of large companies seem to have a key role in market expansion strategies. For example, there is a pipe product company whose main business is plastic pipes. The technical content of this industry is not high, and the most powerful competitors are in China, but the price is much higher than that of Chinese companies, and it can guarantee a good net profit margin per year. Their innovation strategy is to focus on the quality of product and launch the product as a solution. They provide suitable pipeline installation plans for different types of factors and aging equipment to make itself a high value-added technology product. And the technology competitiveness strategy actively price competitiveness strategies and innovative organizational arrangement helps companies of different sizes to promote new and more effective production process. For example, the company Gestep is specialized in the previous slide I haven't seen. Yeah. Specialized in the development and manufacturing of metal parts for automotive industry, and its innovative strategy aims to promote the design of lighter and safer vehicles. The firm also promotes the development of electronic vehicles and help reduce the emissions. So for European automobile manufacturing companies, they can benefit from its industry scale. They should focus on their technology competitiveness strategy and combine their research results and service products to achieve more customers and data access scale. Next slide. Thank you.
Michael. Okay. For the other findings, research and development industry have a proactive and significant impact on the possibility of introducing product innovation. Research and development obtained from external sources have a positive impact on process innovation and the possibility of co-introducing product and process innovation. The innovation policy should clearly define its main goals and company target groups. The new products developed should be conducive. The company's market expansion strategy. Small and middle-sized companies are more inclined to develop new products. The policies promoted by the government have greatly promoted the development of entrepreneurs. This promotion is not only effective for large enterprises but also useful for small and middle enterprises. But the effect of large enterprises are particularly obvious. From this part is we can see the Horizon 2020. This is a program that helps the enterprises to build their project. Each project will receive up to 2.5 million euros in funding. In addition to funding, 12-day business consulting and graduation grants will also be provided. Most of the project funded in this branch are in the field of health engineering and information and communication technologies. So I think if you want to get the help and get the funding and the government support, you should focus on this project. And it's for the innovators. We also have the Europe Finance for Innovators. It's a bank that you can borrow money for it and just for the innovators. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.